Hi guys, Sonia here. Welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to hop on here and do another quick declutter series because most likely we're going to be moving soon. And this drawer is my palette drawer, obviously. I cannot fit all of it on my desk, so I will have to do a couple different rounds of this. But I've been picking some stuff up, as you've seen, and things are just not fitting in the drawer anymore. So we're going to go through things and declutter some of them and throw some of them out if they're really old. So I'm going to kind of clear everything off so we can kind of go by it one by one. You know what? Let's actually go by brand. So the first brand that we've got here is obviously e.l.f. I am gearing up to do a full e.l.f. One brand review like I did with Wet n Wild because I feel like they are competitors and that makes sense. I'm just going to quickly run through the things that I have here. So this is the e.l.f. Prism Eyeshadow palette. This is in the Sunset one. I know they have a Naked one as well, which is more neutral tones. I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't get the neutral tone one, but I'm going to hold on to this for that video, but I really don't use it. So after the video, I'm going to go ahead and pass this along. Now these are the Mad for Matte palettes. I'm going to start off with, this is the second one. I just picked this up recently. I've only used it like twice, so I definitely need to use it more, keeping that one. And then this is the original Mad for Matte palette. I don't know that I would say it's my favorite. This is very cool tone. There's definitely not a light enough shade for me, so I usually have to pull something in because I don't want to put such a light pink under my brow bone. They're not terrible, but it's not my favorite. So once I'm done with that video, I am going to go ahead and pass this one on. I don't reach for it in my collection, and I feel like $10 compared to some of the other brands that I have is actually getting pretty steep for the quality that's in here. This one I just hauled. This is the Chromatic eyeshadow palette. I believe it's in Posh Peacock. I really did like this. The camera kind of washed out in that video, but this is a very, very light aqua color. I've played around with some of them. I haven't used this one yet. I'm really tempted to see if that on the inner corner would look pretty cool, but the quality of this is good. The packaging is awesome. I think this was like $12 on e.l.f.'s website, so it is on the pricier side, but I actually did appreciate that the shimmers in here were good and the mattes were blendable. Got an e.l.f. blush palette right here. I believe this is the light one. Nope, this is the dark one. This is the dark one. I actually am going to keep this one. I do like it, and from looking at it, it very much reminds me of another blush palette, so when it comes time for the next one, maybe I'll do some swatches and see if it's like kind of a comparable situation, because it has 4 blushes in that one as well. This one doesn't get enough love just because my drawer is over full, but you can see that I've used it quite a bit. This is the e.l.f. Total Face palette, and I love the packaging on this. You know, it kind of looks like garbage after a while, but it's cuter than the regular black packaging. But this is amazing. I love the highlight in here. It's got the 2 cute peachy blushes and then like a little bit of a contour. This would be good for traveling. This just gets lost in my collection. I definitely prefer this one over the blush palette, but I feel like they do different things. So this is obviously your Total Face palette. So all in all, I'm going to be getting rid of this one after the thing, and I'm also going to be getting rid of the original Mad for Matte. The rest of them I do love. These ones I'm just not in love with. Makeup Revolution. This is a very controversial brand. They are known for piggybacking and copycatting larger brands' palettes. So with these two, this is supposed to be a dupe for the Naked 3. And this is called the Iconic 3, I believe. And then this one is called the Essential Mattes, which to me looks similar to the, they're both Urban Decay palettes, but I believe this one is the one that's completely matte. I don't have anything else in my collection that gives me this vibe as far as the pink tones, so I'm gonna keep this one. This is something where it actually has a lot of light tones, but I feel like I always get the same look with it. They kind of blend away into nothing on my eyes, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this one. This next palette is the New-Trals versus New-Trals palette looks like that. The only downside of this is that I had to go ahead and tape. They have the names on a plastic sheet that they keep in here, so I have it taped on the mirror, so the mirror is kind of unusable. But I did use this in a Chit Chat Get Ready With Me, so I will link that down below. I really do like this. This was supposed to be an alternative for people who wanted to get like the Sweet Peach palette, the one that has shimmers in it. But this does leave a little bit to be desired. I still do like it, and it gives a little bit more variety with my collection for palettes that you can get your hands on. So I am going to keep this one too. So keeping these two, getting rid of this one. I just wanted to make it clear for a second. When I say get rid of, I mean like throw away if it's super old, or actually even donate it if it's a newer palette that I'm just not a fan of. So we are going to be moving on to NYX. I have the NYX Professional Makeup Sweet Cheeks palette, which is a blush palette, and then I have the NYX Strobe of Genius palette. I feel like I want to keep both of these, but in reality, oh, that's so good. I feel like I want to keep both of these, again, for like more of a NYX video when the time comes, but I would not get this Sweet Cheek palette again. I was hoping, since they were square, that this would be similar to the square blushes that they have, but this is just not that pigmented, and to be honest with you, they're not all shades I love. Like, I don't even think I'm ever going to use this shade. This is too dark for me. This is like a too dark for me highlighter, so I really only have a couple in here that I use. But I'm going to hold on to it for now. Once I'm done with that video, though, I will probably go ahead and pass this along. I would say same thing with the Strobe of Genius palette. I do love this palette. It just gets lost in my collection. I have used the purple one. I think I have used the big ones on the outside, obviously not this one, and not these two, but I have a feeling if I really wanted to have like a trophy wife, like a Fenty Beauty trophy wife situation, that would be the shade that I would go with. So I'm going to keep both of these, but once I do that NYX video, I'm going to get rid of the Sweet Cheeks palette, and I'm only going to have the Strobe of Genius palette. This is the Sonia Kashuk palette. This is old. This used to be everyone's favorite at Target. It's this like $20 palette, which I always thought was super ridiculous. Mine is super old. I actually never got the hype on this. The only shade to me in this whole palette was this one was really soft and buttery, and the rest of these were all hard. And I know this was supposed to be like a dupe for the Viseart palette at one point. But I don't even think you can get this anymore since they just redid Sonia Kashuk, and I've had this for years, and this says 2014 on the back, so we're in 2018. This is going in the trash. The NYC Lovatics by Demi in the shade Natural. I think I picked this up at Target a long time ago. This is supposed to be another palette that's giving you naked palette vibes. I like this. The formula is okay. It's nothing to write home about. Again, this is a shimmery shade here on the lightest end, so I don't have anything to put under the brow bone. I think I'm just going to go ahead and pass this one along. I don't know how long I've had this, but I haven't touched pan on it, and it says 30 months on the back, so it should still be good. I haven't dug into anything too much, so I think I'm going to pass this on to a friend, or if I don't have any friends that want it, then I will pass it along to Project Beauty Share when I'm done with my Declutter series. Oops, I found a couple more e.l.f. ones. I knew I had some more e.l.f., I just didn't see it out. This is another e.l.f. blush palette. This is in the light shade. Yeah, this is in the light shade. I'm going to hold on to this. Just a little bit lighter tones for me. And this is the e.l.f. Illuminating palette. This is one that I love. I actually really do like using all of these three shades. I really never used this one, but I really do love this yellow shade and mixing kind of these three. So I'm going to keep that. This one I have purchased, and I don't even think I have ever used it. This is by LA Colors. I got this at my grocery store back in the day. I just got it because it has all the colors in here that are not colors you see very often. These are all shimmer shades though, so it's nothing that you're going to be able to get a full look out of. I kind of thought that I would play around with the greens up here, just because I feel like you can get purples or like this blue, or really any of the other colors in any other palette. I think I have actually used like 2 shades in here, but I'm going to go ahead and pass this along since I haven't used more than 2 shades and I maybe swatched it. I don't even think I put this on my eyes, so this is going to a new home. Wet n Wild. This is going to kind of be an interesting one because not only do I have these Wet n Wild palettes, so these are all the new ones. You've got Nude Awakening, Comfort Zone, Rosé in the Air, and Not a Basic Peach. I'm keeping all of these. I have used all of these at least to do 1 or 2 looks at this point, and they're brand new, so obviously I'm keeping them. But I wanted to go ahead and show you something that I didn't show you in the Wet n Wild video. I actually have this Tarte palette. See if I can not blind you. That has all these shades that I depotted in it. I don't use this when I film because obviously you can't get these anymore. These are all limited edition Wet n Wild trios or 6-pans where I depotted them just because I didn't want them to go to waste, and they get lost in my collection when they're minis. But I really do love the Wet n Wild formula. This is the old formula. So I'm going to make it my goal to use these and try to hit pan on most of them as possible, but I think that the shades that are in here, you know, they're getting older. So these are at least a couple seasons, a couple years old, and then these ones are at least from last, February, I think. This was like the Valentine's Day collection, and then these ones are from the fall. So they're all older, and I would want to use this Tarte palette when I travel if I do end up ever getting into the whole single shadow thing. Hopefully, fingers crossed, when they're talking about getting single shadows from like Makeup Geek or something in store, then I will actually like go and buy them. But I haven't been the person to buy MAC singles or Morphe singles or Makeup Geek singles, but I know that that's kind of what this Tarte palette's supposed to be, so I'm going to hold on to this for now, but I really want to push myself to use more of it. This is what my other single palette looks like. I just got this one on Amazon, the other one I got from Sephora. I'm going to go ahead and take out this is the old Brulee, and then this is the old Nutty. I have since replaced these, so I can take these out of the palette. I want to keep these because they're good enough shape. This is the Walking on Eggshells, and then this is the brown little trio Silent Treatment? No, not Silent Treatment. The Naked Truth. This has seen better days, but I'll keep that in there for now. And then I just have a couple miscellaneous eyeshadows. So like this one is Girl Talk by NYX, and then these two I believe are both by Ulta Beauty. I just really never use these. This is Cashmere, and this one is Al Burgundy. Oh, this one is a Catrice, I think, not an Ulta. Yeah, I'm like pretty sure this one's Catrice. I just really never reach for these. So if I'm being honest, if I don't reach for this palette in conjunction with that other palette, I'll probably do some condensing into ones that I will actually reach for. I feel like I should use that palette when I want a bright color, because the reason I kept a lot of those ones separate from here, the fact that they don't all fit in one palette, is that this is more of my neutrals and then that's more of my crazy colors. But maybe I should do some reorganizing because I definitely don't need. Moving on to some Colourpop. The Cute AF, which is the Yes Please palette. Looks like that. I honestly have only ever been able to do like one look with this palette. I just tend to gravitate towards the same color, so I really need to push myself. I haven't even touched this yellow that I was super happy about. I think I need to go and look up more tutorials on how to use this differently, because I always put this all over the lid, put this in the crease, and then I go in with one of like the shimmer shades, and like that's basically it. I haven't touched the brown, I'm afraid of it. I haven't touched this one. I think I swatched this one or maybe put this one on my eye once, but a lot of these are untouched. This is a great palette. I need to give it more love. And then this one I obviously just picked up. If you follow me on Instagram, I swatched this. This is gorgeous. This is the Innuendo palette. Glad You Came and Fine Line are like my two favorites in here, but I have been able to use On the Loose if I mix a little. Glad you came in with it. I've swatched all of these. I don't think I'll be able to use all of them on my skin. On Tempo is too deep for me. Same with Losing Sleep. Morning After I could probably get away with, again, if I mix things, but these are really nice. I feel like the white one can look a little bit glittery on my skin, but Colourpop is so affordable that anytime I see something I love from them, I kind of wait for a coupon code and then I just spring on it. So obviously I'm keeping both of these products. These next two are both by Bad Habit. I'm going to do a video on these once I get a little bit more familiar. I actually got this palette just before I got that Colourpop palette. I'm surprised my husband didn't say, didn't you just get another pink highlighter palette? But whatever. This one's called the Rosé Highlight Collection. It's obviously supposed to be a dupe of the Nicole Guerrero and Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. I missed out on that one. I kicked myself. I just didn't. I had just made like an order recently, so I couldn't justify getting it. But again, can only use a couple of them. Pinkies Up, Cheers, Shine, Bubbly, Hashtag All Day, and then Champagne. I have used Cheers mixed with Shine and a touch of All Day. The rest of them I haven't used at all. This one can look a little bit glittery as well, Shine can, but these are intense. Like you need to really, they're very, very powdery, so you really need to tap your brush off, as otherwise you go way too hard. I did that in one of my videos. I put highlight on my face and I didn't tap it off as much. This one needs extra tapping and I ended up having like a stripe on my face. So keeping this one, but I need to use it a little bit more and then get an opinion on it and then do a video on them both. Same thing, this is the Bad Habit Artistry palette. It's supposed to be a dupe for the Makeup by Mario and Anastasia Beverly Hills collab. Missed out on that one. I have not used all the shades in here yet. I am only missing using Primavera and Frida on my eyes. I like them. Some of these shimmer shades you definitely have to wet to get the pigmentation to build up and actually have it look like that color as opposed to darker. But I like it so far. The thing that I like about this palette is that it is very easily blendable. So if you're somebody where you might slap some color down messily and then go in afterwards and blend it, which is what I do, I feel like you can kind of blend away mistakes if you needed it to. So I could see why people would not love the formula, but I like how blendable that it is. So I'm obviously keeping these two. Moving on to some collabs. Got the Carly Bybel Shane XO palette. Carly Bybel palette. I have the old one, so I know they've relaunched this to include highlighters in there. I really like it. Again, I tend to get the same look when I use this just because I tend to gravitate towards the Mauve Row. I tend to get the same look when I use this. I use the Mauve Row, so it's something where I use this in my crease, I set my eye with this, I put this on the lid, I use this in the outer V. I tend to not really use the bottom row so much. And then these, the only highlight that I can really use is this pink one. I'm kind of debating 24 months. I need to look up and see when she launched this because I almost feel like for me, I would want to get the new one. You know, actually, let me compare this. Said that I didn't have another Mauve palette, but this looks hella familiar to this one. So let's get Cutthroat this time. Everyone's doing Cutthroat videos like this, and I'm not. You know what? Let's get rid of the Carly Bybel palette and keep the Makeup Revolution one. And then once I'm less on more palettes, then I can go and I can get the new Carly Bybel palette with the white shade because I do want to try that out. And so I'm going to pass this one to a friend. This one totally got lost in my collection. I bought this and totally forgot about it. This is the Shane XO. This is the first one. Again, I have used this one. I haven't used as much of it as I want to. This shade's not light enough to set all over. This yellow shade kind of scares me a bit, but I have played around a little bit, but I've only used it maybe once and then it got buried, so could barely open my drawer. That's why I'm doing this. The thing that weirds me out is that she put the lipsticks on the other side. I don't know that I'm ever going to use this side. The plastic is still very much in place, but I think it's a cute concept and I like Shannon, so I'm going to hold on to this one. I didn't actually swatch this like I wanted to, so here is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Blush Kit in Radiant, and I wanted to compare it to the e.l.f. blush kits. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch these. Okay, so I think we have a dupe. The only difference here is that the e.l.f. palettes have a couple different shimmer shades where they don't really correspond with the Anastasia kit. So this is the Anastasia blush kit right here, and then right down below it is the e.l.f. one in light. I think that all the shades are pretty much similar except for the Anastasia Really Cool Pink has glitter in it, and I think on the e.l.f. kit it's actually the darker shade down at the bottom that has the glitter in it. And then this is the e.l.f. blush kit in dark. Not a dupe exactly for this color. There are a couple similarities in here, but obviously they're deeper for deeper skin tones so that they'll show up. But I feel like that's actually pretty close. So if you don't want to get the Anastasia blush kit, if you can't find it at like TJ Maxx or Ross or Marshalls or wherever they sell this now, which is where I got mine at TJ Maxx, or go on eBay, you can definitely pick up the e.l.f. blush kit in light. Got a couple oldies but goodies here. This is the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. I got this as a Christmas present from family a few years ago. I'm definitely keeping this. This is something that I kind of overlooked just because I have a lot of palettes, so now that I have my declutter and I'm going to reorganize in my drawer, hopefully I'll be able to use this more. But this is actually the thing that I pinned on Pinterest with those like step-by-step eye tutorials with the pictures, and it really got me interested in doing more stuff with makeup. So I definitely need to get this out and use it more. I actually am going to take the brush out and clean it because I think the brush is actually pretty good in the Urban Decay palettes. But this is the only one that I have. I debated on getting the Ultimate Basics at one point, but I have plenty in my collection as you can see, and this is definitely staying. Kat Von D's Shade and Light Eye Contour Palette. This is my favorite eyeshadow palette for just basic everyday. I have hit pan on several of the shades as you can see. This light yellow I use to set all over the lid. I usually go in with this next lightest color in the crease before I put either this brown in there or one, like the gray or something like that, or this orangey one. Once I hit pan on a couple more shades in here though, I don't think I'm going to repurchase just because this is expensive. I got this as a gift. I would probably pick up the Makeup Revolution one since it's obviously less expensive, and I know that Sabrina here on YouTube did a comparison video where she thought that they were pretty comparable, if not sometimes the Makeup Revolution one was a little bit less powdery. So when I'm done with this one, I will definitely get the Makeup Revolution, but this is staying in my collection, very well loved. I just have the old cardboard packaging. These next two, I bought them at the same time, and because I have been overwhelmed in my drawer, I haven't really been able to use them too much. This is the Lorac Mega Pro 4. I missed out on the other Lorac Mega Pros, but I did not want this one to pass me by purely because of the Peacock and Lagoon shades. Once I saw Emily Noel talk about it, I knew I had to have it in my life, and then I was able to snag it when it was on sale for $39 at Ulta. Again, I've only done a couple looks in here, but these shadows are amazing. You can't beat the price on how many eyeshadows that you get. I haven't dipped into all of them yet, so I really want to try some colorful looks. I mean, I'm pretty basic when it comes to my eyeshadow, but occasionally I'll do a color all over the lid. I just really need to get in here and try some interesting combinations. And yes, I did keep the plastic because this is, if you've ever used Lorac eyeshadows, they are very, very powdery, which makes them blendable, but messy. So I figured I'd keep that in there, especially if I'm ever going to travel with this. That way I don't get like eyeshadow crumbles in a lighter color. Same thing with this next one. I got this around the holidays. The Kat Von D Saint & Center eyeshadow palette. I looked it up and I don't see that it's available anymore, unfortunately, on Sephora's website, but I'm excited to have this in my life. I love Kat Von D eyeshadows. I think they're very pigmented but very blendable. The only thing that I think I need to do is I need to have this palette and the Shade and Light out just because I don't really know how to use so many colorful eyeshadows at once, but I got this because I like the formula of Kat Von D and the packaging drew me in. I've only used this twice and I've done one look and then the same look 2 times, so 3 times. but I really want to get in here and use like some of these brighter shades down here. Like the red really drew me in, the gold, the lime green, the orange. I just need to get a little bit more adventurous with my eyeshadow, so this will definitely help me do that, and it's staying in my collection. Ah, the Jaclyn Hill palette. I got it when it was the original launch day. It only took me like less than 20 minutes to check out. I always think that that's crazy. I had an alarm set for it. I know they've updated the packaging since they moved to Ulta. I have my color shades kind of taped in. I don't know if you can even see it. I'm not going to blind you with the mirror since there isn't one, but I have my color shades taped right here, so if I'm doing a tutorial on this or something. This is something where I don't know that I ever am going to do a tutorial just because it's so saturated in everything right now. There's so many people who uploaded videos of this, I just would get buried, but again, I've only used a few shades. I did get into some of the red oranges. I want to do some looks with some of the brighter colors over here in this corner. I have used the shimmers that are more vibrant in here. But obviously I'm going to keep this one. I haven't used many of the shades. I have used the lighter shades. I just haven't used the colorful shades or like the really deep shades yet. So I definitely am going to keep this one in my collection. I want to say this one's maybe like a year old at this point, so I'm definitely keeping this. Pinterest definitely made me do this one. This is the Physicians Formula Canyon Classics. This is something that's supposed to be kind of a dupe for other shades in my collection. So this could be kind of similar to the Kat Von D as far as like the shades go, you know, your more basic mattes. But I believe that it's also supposed to be like a dupe for one of the shades in the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. I don't actually have the full size. I got this mini as a 500 point perk from Sephora. Looks like that, just has a couple shades and then has a bronzer in here. Again, this kind of gets lost in my collection, but I do want to use this up. So I'm going to keep both of them, and hopefully I will be able to find them in my collection now that I'm getting rid of some other palettes. Last but not least, I have my Makeup Forever palette. This is one that you buy, it's a tin, you buy it empty. I have a few things in here that I use quite often. I know this is in with eyeshadow palettes. This really isn't an eyeshadow palette, but these three products are all base products. So I have the Physicians Formula Radiant Finishing Powder. I have the Butter Bronzer, or the Butter Blush in Plum Rose, and then I have the Butter Bronzer and the Light Bronzer. These are the two technical shadows in here. They are both from, let me get this thing out of here. They are both from Makeup Forever before they did their reformulation, obviously, why they're still round. But this one is in M544. I got that one from Sephora Play. And then this big red one is in M846. I'm obviously keeping both of these, but this is definitely more ideal for traveling with many things because I feel like the palette you can actually put a ton of stuff into. I tend to kind of have these spaced over here. You could definitely put a couple more eyeshadows on this side, and then I like the little thing on top to hold them and they fall out. But I'm keeping all these. I hope to use this a little bit differently in the future. I wish I could have like all eye products in one, all face products in another, but in reality I reach for this one because it has those certain 3 products in it. So I'm gonna keep this. So I'm just gonna count out what things that I kept and then what things I'm getting rid of. I know this is a hard video because I'm not really getting rid of a ton of things, but anything to help me kind of go through my collection. So let's see what we got. So I'm keeping 33 and I'm going to be getting rid of 7 and then a couple single shadows that I got out of that palette. So not the best. I feel like not the worst. I'm not at least keeping anything because it's limited edition or you can't get it anymore or dumb logic like that. I just really want to get rid of things that I'm not using in my collection. And pass it along to somebody who might. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already and ring the bell. That way you'll be notified anytime that I upload. Please follow me on my other social media. That way you'll be up to date on everything that I'm doing, and you might even see sneak peeks between hauls and stuff like that, or things that I'm looking at purchasing. I am Mrs. Shiny Side on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, and on Facebook and Pinterest. I am Stephanie Shiny Side, and I will see you guys again next time. Bye guys.